Welcome back to the Future Self podcast. Welcome to season 3, episode 7. I'm in fucking Bali. Now, as you'll notice, I didn't have a can of drink then, but that is part of my coined intro, so I'm going to keep it up. I'm in Bali. I packed up my life at home. I rented out my apartment. I'm trying to sell my car, but it's not fucking selling. So if anyone wants an AMG A45 Mercedes, go for gold. I left the gym I was working at. I stopped face-to-face coaching. I went all in on online coaching and all in on fucking backing myself. This has been a dream of mine since I was 16. 16 years old. I'm 22 now. A 6-year-long dream to be traveling the world, online coaching, making content, impacting lives, doing more for this world than what that 16-year-old knew to be possible. It's just blowing my mind. The direction of this podcast is going to be guests when I can get them. It's going to be local people, famous people, those on social media. It's just going to be a range of people I'm interested in because it's the conversations I'm having. I'm not going to force anything. I'm not going to only hunt down social media based individuals. I want to share the stories of people that I think are inspiring. But I also want to have conversations with so many fucking people. This podcast is so new. So new. It's 10 months old. It has over 500 subscribers. I hit my first 1K viewed video. It's fucking minuscule. There's so many podcasts out there these days. There's probably millions at this point in time. And I might sit here and have people say, why will yours be one day? It's not that special. Well, it fucking is. And it's going to be something one day because I back myself and I'm going to make it be something. Now, what I'm going to talk about isn't going to be just about my travels. I'm not going to talk about how the food's fucking cheap here in Bali and how the locals are so kind. And I'm not going to talk about that in Vietnam and then Europe. I definitely want to mention things along the way. But I want to keep up talking about mindset, attitude, goal achievement, backing yourself, future self. Things aren't going to change that drastically. Now, if you're tuning in on Spotify, just go to YouTube. Just have a look for a second because the studio is not the stoogie in my fucking apartment. It ain't no grey casting couch looking dusty old fucking couch. It ain't no little banner. I don't have my branding here. But as a studio I've rented out to do this podcast, if you could see what I am looking at right now, you would be fucking blown away. It makes me feel like it's a professional setting. It makes it feel like it's legit. And it is legit because I'm making it legit. I'm going to make this something fucking huge. So I appreciate you tuning in. Now, what I wanted to talk about today was that little introduction of where the podcast is going and where I'm going to take it, what I'm going to do with it. Still going to be fortnightly episodes. I'm going to bank up at points in time. They're going to be different locations. The studio's not going to be the same. The visuals of it won't be consistent, but the conversations will be. And by consistency, I mean fucking interesting, asking questions, diving below the surface, doing what others aren't doing. Now, I'm not here to flex, but name another 22-year-old that's gone all in on themselves, packed up their home, and is traveling the world going after their dream. There's none. Well, there's not any that I can name. There's definitely some others out there, but there aren't people that I know in my close circle. And I'm not saying that to make out like I'm better than people, because I'm not. I'm the fucking same. We are ultimately a similar human. We have the same opportunities. We have the same ability to do what you want to do. I dare say the difference is I'm just doing it. I'm not one of those people that fucking talk about doing this. Oh, I'm going to do that and I'm going to achieve this and one day do this. I'm going to fucking do it. I'm actually going to do it. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it, sound good, hype myself up, and then not. I'm actually going to do it. I remember when I was in the gym working face to face, I'd hear, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to post on social media. I want to make videos. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing that. I'm not going to name specifics, but those people didn't follow it through. They're not doing it. Being one of those individuals is not a bad thing. but it doesn't lead to good outcomes for your future. You can't say you're going to achieve something or work on a goal and never be that person to achieve it. What's the fucking point? It's like 12-week, 10-week, 8-week challenges. Doesn't last long term. You can't be that person that thinks in the short term, fuck yeah, that'll be cool. It doesn't get you anywhere. I've been busting my ass with this podcast, fucking busting my ass, posting videos, editing, reaching out to people, thinking of questions, progressing my knowledge, bettering my language, posting shorts. It's been so much work, and the return, I've only got 500 subscribers and a couple hundred views per video. It's not paying my bills. It's not changing my life yet, but I know it will, because I'm not going to fucking stop until it does something. And it's not even talking the specifics of a podcast, right? It's about being so relentless that when you set a goal, you know you're going to achieve it. I was 16 years old when I left school, studying Cert 3 and 4. I knew one day I wanted to impact lives. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to have conversations, and I wanted to be coaching people. Doing, done. There's a pattern. Setting it, saying it, manifesting the fuck out of it, working on it, achieving it. Dream car, Golf GTI when I was 17. Set it, manifested it, bought it. AMG A45, set it, manifested it, worked for it, bought it. Apartment, a big coaching company, impacting lives. You have to be that person that sets goals and fucking achieves them. Now, this isn't a conversation and a spew about how important it is to set goals, because I'll be honest, I set a couple big goals here and there, and the rest of the work I do is heading in a direction. Every person I work with in coaching is individual, and they have individual based goals, but some don't even have goals, and I don't force that down their throat. I don't do goal setting sessions. I don't force that they have a goal. We can go in a direction. I know I want to head in this direction. I want to be leaner, fitter. I want to be more self-backing. You can go in directions, but it's about achieving it. What I'm talking about in this episode is the relentless pursuit of achieving what you set out. It's not giving up halfway. It's not stopping once it gets hard. It's not slowing down and then falling over and then not getting back up. It's not about that. It's about fucking doing it. Doing it. You haven't tuned into this podcast because you're someone who's lazy and not doing something with your life. You're not someone who doesn't care about self-development or progression, because you're fucking spending the time to listen to this. Whether you're not doing a whole lot about it yet, that's okay, but you're doing something. And that something is just tuning into this bit of material. Just tuning into this episode. The first fucking episode in Bali, it's so sick. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about today, there's a few little different things, so it's not over one topic. That was my little rant, if you dare say, about achieving goals or being so relentless that you hit goals, because I think it's so fucking important. And I only say it because I've been through hell on this earth at a young age, and I'm doing it now. I don't say it necessarily to just be some motive guru that, I'm doing things that you can't do. You can do everything I'm doing. And if a 12-year-old kid who spent 6 months crying in his room thinking the world's ended, got himself to study a career he's passionate about, and then has gotten himself into this position now, you can fucking do it. You can do it. And I'm not saying that to be cliche, and it's so fucking cliche, and forgive me for it, but you can do it. Because he did, I am, and you can. But it's a fucking choice. You have to choose to do it. It's been really interesting my first week here. It's just been finding my footing, getting used to the geographics. I went to a waterfall the other day, which just blew my mind. I literally stood at the base of this 50 fucking foot waterfall, and it just had me reflecting so much about what's worth stressing about. And then I can't sit here and say, don't stress, it's not worth it. Because for the last 3 to 4 years of my life, It has been ridiculed with stress, worry, anxiety, sleepless nights, feeling sick, all of that. So I'm not going to tell you not to stress, but for me, the exposure to that experience was so mind-blowing and was so expansive, just thinking like, this is so beautiful and life is like this right now. This is unfolding in front of me. I'm experiencing this. This is my life at this point in time. Shit's just not worth stressing about. The small things. I've had conversations with people that have told me that they want to kill themselves over this. And this, in quotation marks, for anyone who's listening and not watching on YouTube, this is not worth it. Because in a month's time, it's fucking nothing. In 1 year's time, it's fucking nothing. I've gone through so many situations that has felt like my world is ending. Recent, months ago, years ago, it feels like my world is ending. Right now, I'm sitting in a fucking studio in Bali, having packed up my life, traveling the world, explored a waterfall yesterday, met heaps of people in a gym the day before. That shit doesn't matter. The gossiping doesn't matter. The bitching doesn't matter. The comments, the worry of what people are going to think, the judgments, it doesn't fucking matter. I've had people recently over the last week follow me back on social medias because they're inspired by what I'm doing. I've had people tune into viewing my story, watching the podcast because they care about what I'm doing. The people that once talked shit, judged me, made me feel small, alienated me to a minor degree for doing what I wanted to do, and now they're tuning in because what I'm doing is cool. It's fucking sick. It's the pursuit of being different, and it's not about being different for the sake of being different. It's being different because you don't want the same as everyone else. I adore face-to-face coaching. I love it. I have a few of my GLCs who are doing FaceTimes at the moment, and it's been the best parts of my week. They're still on full coaching. We sit down, break down their week, do everything together. That face-to-face connection is so important, and I love it. But that face-to-face coaching, it's not forever. I don't want to be a 40-year-old PT on the gym floor working 60 hours a week doing the same shit. I was doing so much work, 70, 80-hour weeks, working with tens and tens of people at a point in time, like a lot. I'm not going to say the number, but it was a lot of clients at one point in time, impacting lives. I posted a reel yesterday that reached a couple thousand people. Not that big of a deal. Didn't pop off, didn't blow up. A couple thousand people. That one fucking video had the potential to change the lives of a couple thousand people. Now, I'm not saying that if someone watches an Instagram reel that their life's changed, but it could change their life. And that to me that's what I want it to be. I want this podcast to blow the fuck up. I want to do stage talks. I want to post content that's just reaching so many people. And I couldn't do that in the setting of being at the gym. I couldn't be around the same people 24/7. I couldn't be in that small pool of a few hundred people and that's all I saw. Couldn't do the same routine. I had to change it. But like I said, I don't know anyone else that's doing this from my local area. I know heaps of people. Fuck, I met 10 people yesterday in the gym that have social media followings 10 times the amount that I do. They're bigger than me. They're double the size. Do you know how fucking inspiring that is? Now, I'm not saying that I was the big fish at my old gym because there's some trainers there killing it and I have respect for how hard they work. But we were all similar, doing the same thing. So where's the motive? The motive came from in here and up here. I wanted better for myself. But I'm almost being forced to be better and do better. I'm surrounded by people 10 times the following I have as a minimum and double my size. You fucking bet I'm going to load that machine up a little bit heavier. You fucking bet I'm going to post 2 posts a day when I was doing 1 a month. Now again, I want to keep things relatable. And you can't relate to being in Bali surrounded by fitness influencers. I get it. But what you need to understand and what I'm talking about is being the small fish in the big fucking pond. Not flexing to the same group of people that you're doing better than. Not hanging out with the same group that you can be at the top. You don't have to put yourself at the bottom. But that's where the growth is. Get a mentor, get a coach, be surrounded by people with businesses, be surrounded by people that think a level of depth that's just fucking crazy. Surround yourself with people that are doing better or more or different than you, because the exposure to that experience is so progressive and has so much growth on its own. Oh, fuck, I need to take a breather. And I'm so nervous to watch this episode back because for the first time, I don't have my arm up on an awkward side sitting on the couch. I have the expression of my hand and I feel like I've been fucking hand expressing this whole episode. There's a recent emoji I've been using, which is the Italian fingers, and I feel like that's all I've been doing. So if you're listening on Spotify, I probably appreciate you doing that this episode. But if you're listening on YouTube, I love you, because I could have easily filmed this in the accommodation I'm staying in, blank screen, no video, just listening to the audio. That shit's easy. But this is interesting. Like this is a fucking professional setup studio. There's literally a white wall behind the camera. There's lights all up here. I'm going to post it on my social media. So if you're not following my social medias, I'll tag both of them below, my coaching account and my personal profile. Not saying that the posts are still going to be up, but my life over the next 12 months, I hope, will be crazy. So fucking join in on the ride for that. Now, I wanted to explain an experience I had the other day at a cafe. They always say solo travel, you meet people. You don't just meet people unless you're open to it. So again, you're not solo traveling. Why am I saying this? What's the relatability? The relatability aspect is being open to receiving what you want to attract. That's what it is. So I went to this cafe after going to the waterfall. I was already on a high. I was absolutely buggered at the same time too. And this cafe was busy, probably 100 people in it, which is fucking crazy. But Crate Cafe, Canggu, Bali, if you've been there before, it's pretty unreal. Few hundred people in there. I got a little bit anxious. Me, yeah. I literally run a podcast, talk on social media, work with hundreds of people, do FaceTimes and fucking Skypes and whatnot weekly, meeting new people, and I got nervous. So I walked through the cafe, I sat out the back on this little stool that wasn't even a table on my own. And I sat there for a couple minutes just scrolling on my phone. Now, anyone who's been to a party, you could probably relate to this when you awkwardly walk through the party and you pull up the weather app. That's what I felt like. I feel like I was pulling up the weather app just trying to distract myself so I wasn't awkwardly sitting there. And I thought to myself, I want to meet people on this journey. What the fuck am I doing? Fuck this. So I got my bag, walked inside, saw a table of 10 people, sat down. Now I first walked over and I said, hey, is this free? And they said, yeah, fucking oath, sit down. I spent my breakfast talking to 10 people from Russia, Germany, fucking New Zealand even, talking to those people about their journeys. They were all pretty individual in the sense that they weren't a big group of people. It was just a collective of humans on their own sitting at this table. Now again, I could have been closed off, closed-minded, anxious, missed the chance, had breakfast, gone home, met no one. I met people, I've talked to them, we're planning to train. Like, it's being open to receiving it. So again, the relatability factor. If you want to have growth and progress, be open to it. You have to be open to it. And it's going to be uncomfortable. A group of strangers I walked over to, asked if I could sit down, sat down, gained so much from it. That's uncomfortable for me even, but it grew me. There was progress that came from that. I could have easily avoided it. So again, if you're someone that goes to the gym and the gym's still uncomfortable, but you walk in with your head down, your AirPods in, or even a hat, of course it's going to be fucking uncomfortable. Take that shit off, head up, smile at someone, give someone a compliment, tell someone they're doing well, ask someone if you can share a machine with them. You could literally meet someone that could be a big deal in your life, or you could simply just have a super nice interaction. Now, on the flip side too, to be a realist, you could also have an interaction where you get brushed off, or they say that you can't work in with them. There's growth in that because you've been exposed to a situation that's fucking awkward. You've overcome it. You know what it's like. It's not that big of a deal. So then the next time you're already prepared for it. Hell, I've had clients in the past when a lot of my client base was centered at the one gym. that just talked to each other one day and then they became fucking roommates. Roommates for like a year, and that came from one conversation on a treadmill. Now again, I'm not saying you need to fucking walk down the street and say hello and head nod and all that all the time, but it's just being open to it. Open to a conversation. Open to listening, not speaking. That's a podcast I want to do in the future. Listening to listen, not listening to speak. And it's something I've been diving in with a few clients this week, and it's been really fucking unreal because so many people listen to speak. They can't wait for someone to stop talking so then they can speak. They just disregard everything that's being said. They don't take it on. They don't consciously listen. Being a speaker is great, and I can vouch for that because it's my fucking job in so many parts, but listening has changed my life. Listening to people talk, letting someone finish, listening to the full story, that can do a lot for you. Being open to receiving is ultimately what I'm trying to talk about. Now, I just realized I'm sweating so fucking much. It is Bali, so it's hot as fucking here right now. The lights are really hot too, so don't judge me. If I'm sitting here spitting straight facts and you're just staring at my pit sweat, fuck you. Okay, don't be dropping no comment pit sweat. I've given more value than just sitting here fucking sweating up a storm, but I'll be honest, it is pretty crazy. Even on the ride here too, because I rode my scooter on the way here, it was pissing down rain. So I had my backpack on and I was riding with my eyes just fucking almost shut, gunning it to this studio because I have a 2-hour booking. And it was just pissing down rain. So I got in here and my shirt was wet and then it dried because it's so hot. And now it's fucking getting all sweaty again, which is, yeah, it's really interesting. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before I wrap up this episode, first episode in Bali, the first episode of my hopeful 12-month travels, the first episode to really kick things off. Like, I'm talking shit's getting serious after this, and I want it to be fucking unreal. It's about, and I'm going to steal this quote from Chris Williamson. He has a podcast. It is unreal. It's grown exponentially over the past 12 months. And what he says is the outcome you're looking for, or the thing that you're wanting to achieve, is in the work you're avoiding. The thing you're wanting is in the work you're avoiding, which is so true, right? Some people want weight loss, but they're avoiding the work that's tied to that. Some people don't want to be anxious, insecure, lacking confidence, but they're avoiding the work tied to that. Some people want to be stronger, but they're avoiding the work that's tied to that. Some people want to change their life, do something different. They want to take the risk, but it's in the work they're avoiding. Now that's really fucking scary to think about. What you're wanting is in the work you're avoiding. That's terrifying because you're avoiding it for a reason, either because it's new, it's scary, it's different, or you don't know. But in that field, in those circles, those ranges of comforts and discomforts, it is what you're wanting. It's in there. It's guaranteed. It's 100% fucking guaranteed in there, but you're not going to get it because you're avoiding it. And that's really almost paradoxing in the sense that you really want something, but you won't get it because it's in the work you don't want to do or you're scared to do. So the more you want something, the more work it demands, but the work it demands is the shit you don't want to do. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because the success people see is in doing that fucking work. I post my clients all the time. There's so many of them. Haley, 100 kilo deadlift, almost double body weight. Almost double fucking body weight. It was in the work. It's been there the whole time, but we never achieved it initially because it was in the work she was avoiding. Not going to the gym consistently, not pushing heavy, being too scared of loading up the bar, worrying about how she'll feel after the session. But it was there, and then we broke through it, and she fucking achieved it. She got it right before I left. It was unreal. Jane, fucking hell. There's so many things I could say about Jane-O, which if anyone of you don't know, go on my socials because her story is insane. But the things that she wanted for so long, it was in the work she was avoiding. She started doing the work she was avoiding, and now she's achieving it. Shani, Sam, fucking Beth, fucking, Anna, there's so many. I have so many. Pete, there's so many clients I have that are starting to see the result they want because it's in the work that they're doing. Now they come to me initially, I want this, this, and this, and they just I can't get there. I don't know how to get there. I'm not achieving it. I haven't been able to. Yeah, because it's in the fucking work you're avoiding. It's there. It's guaranteed. It's like this, right? I got to check that pit sweat. I want a really big podcast. Now, I told you at the start of this episode, it's going to happen. How can I have that confidence and that guarantee? Because I'm not avoiding the work. I'm messaging bigger social media individuals to do a podcast. I'm putting in the hours. I'm editing. I'm leveling up. I'm hunting down studios. I'm paying. I had to pay quite a bit of money for all of this, and there's no financial return. But I'm not going to avoid it because what I want is in that work. I want a healthier lifestyle. I want to be fit. I want to be confident. Do the fucking work. It's possible for you to achieve it. It's not only possible, it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. Now you could probably at me for that to say what you want is guaranteed, but it is. If you want to become a millionaire, it's guaranteed you can get there if you don't avoid the work. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen in a month, and I'm not saying it's going to happen in 10 years, and there might be things you really don't want to do to get there, but who's to say you can't get there? If anyone had told me, I wouldn't have actually stuck to the goal. I wouldn't be traveling the world right now, podcast, digital nomad, working online, making content, and they would have said I wouldn't have gotten there. It's because they would have thought I would avoid the work. You can't do that. You can't post that much. You can't achieve that. Do you know what is demanded for that? Yeah, dog. I do, because I did it and I'm doing it. And this is why I always say, for the relatability aspect, I'm not better than you. I'm not better than you. We're all different, right? Naturally, humans, individual. We're one in fucking 8 billion, but we're not that unique. You could be doing what I'm doing now if you wanted it and didn't avoid the work. I just never avoided the work. And that took cutting off friends, quitting drinking, partying, alcohol, drugs, festivals, 80 hours of work a week, shunning some of my best friends and family at point in time where I was so flat out and tired, working on the weekends 7 days a week, 4 years straight, doing things that other people aren't doing, being judged, mocked, being looked at differently, called arrogant, this, and this. But I just never avoided it, because what I wanted would have been in that work, I would have avoided, and I was not willing to do that. Season 3, episode 7. I'm in fucking Bali in a studio doing a pod. It's unreal. That's the wrap up of this episode. I just wanted to spit a little bit of passion to you guys and a bit of a reality check and a bit of inspiration that what you want is there, but you can't get there by avoiding the work. You won't get there if you keep avoiding the work. It's going to take things you've never done before. It's going to be uncomfortable, challenging. It's going to be fucking hard at times, but it's there and it's possible and it's able to be done. Now, I'm not making any promises because this may or may not happen, but I linked up with this social media influencer who's lived in Bali for 3 years, has an insane story about what she does and all of that. And I seen her in person and I just took the chance to introduce myself and ask her to be on the pod. So I'm in the works of trying to set that up. She said she was keen. We'll see. I'm not putting pressure on it. I'm only here for another couple more days or another 2 weeks or so. If it happens, it happens. Fuck yeah. If it doesn't, I met someone great and their story's fucking great. But that's all I'm going to say, because I'll leave a little cliffhanger for you. But if not, you're going to see this pretty face again in a solo episode, talking about a few different topics, dropping some fucking facts on you, and probably sweating twice as hard because it is hot up in this bitch. If you tuned in on Spotify, I love you. If you tuned in on YouTube, I adore you, because so much went into creating it this time. My social medias will be in the bios below. Follow that shit, because life's about to be fucking crazy. Remember, I'm not that special, and what I'm doing, you could be doing too. Look after yourself and do it for the future fucking you.